Coach, getting to honor one of your friends every year for a track meet, why does that mean so much to you?
Well, this meet is so special. It's going to always be our first meet, the Korky Classic, and just to honor my friend that used to be the coach here, but also was a big part of me becoming the head coach here also and following him. I just can't tell you what it means to me and the kids that were here on our program in the past when he was alive. He meant everything to them. So he was our biggest fan, and just really proud to put this meet in his honor and for us to kick the year off right every year with Korky.
Say, as well as you knew him, what do you think his reaction would be to having a meet named after him?
Oh, I think he's eating barbecue and smiling in heaven right now because he loved eating barbecue and he loved track meets. So, he'd be thrilled. And he knew that we were going to name the meet after him or have one, but we're sure hoping he would have made it last year to live long enough to have seen it. But it's still a special, I think, thing for his family and especially for our team.
More on the, performance side, what is the big warrior question that you have every time you go into the first track meet of the season?
Yeah, the kids are anxious and they're ready to roll, and we haven't had them very long. We gave them the Christmas break, and you're always worried a little bit about the first meet. I try to just not be too hyped up about it, but just to have fun and to kick the season off right. And we just want to get some work in, probably this meet and next week, and then we're going to get really more serious. You'll see people, I hope, qualify in certain events this weekend and next weekend, but the emphasis is going to be in about 2 or 3 weeks where we really start focusing in on who we're trying to get qualified for nationals, try to get Big 12 marks where we get good lanes at our Big 12 championships. But for the first couple of weeks, we're just kind of work everybody, get them in a little bit of shape and get fitness and see where we are.
I was going to say, from maybe an outsider perspective, you look at track and field and the individuality of some of the events and think, okay, maybe there isn't as much rust involved. Is it that way or no?
I think you're right. Like a long jumper, we've got Charles and O'Dane and Justin, and they're going to long jump this weekend, and I'm expecting big things out of those guys. The long jump's a little different than a miler. A miler needs to get in shape and a little bit more. If you're a ballistic person in the jumps, well then, last year Trey went 7.7 at this meet. And so you don't have to be, like I say, in endurance shape like you do as a runner for some field events, and I expect some big marks.
So you're not expecting it you won't take it as an excuse for maybe not the best performance of the year?
No, not at all. And these kids are going to come and compete anytime they line up. So I think we're going to have some really good things, but we're not putting a lot of emphasis on, hey, you got to get qualified this week.
What teams are here?
Well, we have UTEP and we have Houston and we have Oklahoma and us. And we're actually going to let because our numbers were down, Garden City Community College, we're going to let them in just to try to help our numbers, because it's a real small meet with not a lot of numbers in it, which is really kind of what I wanted.
So you're getting a look at one of those other Big 12 teams with Oklahoma and then another Texas team with Houston. Can you talk a little bit about what you're expecting out of them or how they might be shaping up this year?
Well, Houston, was a top 5 team last year, and they're bringing their cream. I think they're bringing 10 of their top women and 10 of their top men. And they're going to try to run fast in certain events. So I know they're coming to this track for that reason. They have a home meet, but it's odd they're bringing their best people to this one. So it's kind of a compliment to our facility. Oklahoma has got a big team like we do. They'll bring a lot of numbers. We'll get an opportunity to see another Big 12 team right off the bat. So we're going to know their strengths and weaknesses probably right off. And so it'll be fun to see them.
How much are you going to learn about your sprinters with Houston coming into town?
Well, we just put a couple of guys in the 60. We're running Divine in the 300, which is an odd event, not an NCAA event, but we'd love to get him a good mark. And we're training him up a little bit early in the year. He'll drop down and run the 60 and the 200 in the next couple of weeks. But I know what Houston's got, so I really don't have to worry about it. It's just going to be a matter of how fast they run.
You are home the entire indoor season, right, until the national meet?
Yes.
Correct?
Well, and it's just such a blessing to me. I told the team in our team meeting, we get to sleep in our own bed. We show up 2 hours before our event. We get to go back and stay in the same bed. We don't have to travel. We're not missing school. I think we have the greatest advantage of being able to run on the fastest track and the best facility in the country. And now we're getting great teams coming in here weekly to be able to push us. So we can kind of pick and choose when we need to run fast with our best people.
Is that one of the big advantages of having such a nice facility as teams want to come here and race here?
Yeah, no doubt. And we have several teams more this year coming that didn't come last year that just heard about how fast it was. And you know, when you have Divine and AJ and those guys in the sprints running so fast, and I think the best jump facility in the country is right here. And I think those people that jump far, you know, we qualified for nationals, every kid we had on this track. So we think it's pretty good.
Who are some of the other good teams that will be coming here in the next 2 months?
Well, LSU's coming next week. Houston's coming back next week. And then we've got, of course, A&M, and we've got Miami, we've got USC, we have got Arizona, Arizona State, Texas, Baylor, TCU. Man. And then our whole Big 12 will be here, I believe, in February. February 1st, we have Kansas, Kansas State, and those people. But, you know, I think there's 4 out of the 6 teams in the country that finished in the top 6 are going to be coming to our meets this year, 4 of them.
That finished top 6 indoor?
That's correct.
Guys?
Yes, guys.
Guys,
Yeah. The USC women, of course, they'll bring men and women. USC was one of the top teams on the women's side, too.
Is the U.S. training team coming through here again?
We haven't heard from them yet, but I expect to when we get about February. They like to come a little bit once they get back from Christmas and get in a little bit of shape and show up. But we have various pros coming in at various meets along. I'm not sure exactly who yet, but I know they've called to say when can we come to a meet, and we'd like to look at it.
Yeah, I was wondering, like a Mike Rogers or any of those guys.
Yeah.
Is he back here this weekend that you know?
There might be a high jump group, but I don't think so. I think they're coming a little bit later.
Curious, is season to season, do the goals change based on the team you have, or are they kind of all, you know, kind of this flat line kind of thing?
You know, our men's team was really good last year. We knew we were good. We were hoping to finish even higher than we did, but we have everybody back besides, you know, Trey Culver and C.J. Jones, really, of that team that scored. And so we probably have 6 or so guys to add to that group, and you can't replace those 2 guys, but I do think we have a really strong men's team. Our women's team is way improved from what we've had. We've got several transfers in that are going to make a big difference, plus just our team's growing up a little bit on the women's side. So I'm pretty excited about to see where we're going to be, but I have high expectations for this group.
Who are some of your top newcomers?
Well, they won't run this week. We have 3 new guys that are coming in at mid-year. And we've got Jonah Koich, who came from UTEP, and he ran 146 outdoors, got 5th place at the national meet for UTEP. He ran 355 in the mile and ran indoors last year and got 8th place for UTEP. So he ran the mile indoors and outdoors. And then we've got Janai Parenchief, who is a transfer from Arkansas. And he was an Iowa Central junior college kid that we tried to get out of Iowa Central. He chose Arkansas, but then stayed last year and was transferring in here. He's jumped 7.5 in the high jump and 53.8 in the triple jump. And then we have a kid from France named Axel Hubert, and he is a 76.50 deck. So those are 3 pretty big guns that we've added to this group. On the women's side, we've got Day Birch, who came from Arkansas. She's a 56.4 quarter hurdler and a 53 quarter miler and a 205 half miler. She's going to be really helping with that group. And then we've got 2 or 3 recruits that we haven't, that may show up here in the next week that I can't mention yet, that'll be coming in.
Coach, sometimes when you have that indoor atmosphere, not much is better in sports than the indoor track atmosphere during big races or big events. For you, is the excitement level still there every time you go into meet one? Or?
Always. I think if it gets where it's not for me, I need to quit. But, you know, I've never been more excited. This year is our 2nd year to have this building. We didn't realize what we were getting last year. We were so excited to get it, but then after we ran on it and threw on it and jumped on it, we realized this is the best facility in the country. And then everyone is bragging about it all over. And when you get that many people talking about your facility, when you have good teams, it just makes me so excited to get started. And nothing's like indoors. I think you're right. Last year we had record crowds. People are standing up watching and yelling. It's loud in here. It's exciting. You have a 200-meter track that people are going by real quick. And I just think it creates a great atmosphere.
What's the schedule on Saturday?
We start with field events at 11, and then the running starts at 1. Should be out of here by 4. So be a real quick meet.
You mentioned Trey. Is Trey going to compete
I think Trey's going to jump, but I don't think he's jumping this weekend. Yeah, we've got Jacorian and Bradley and Trey all here training, and they will jump soon because they're going to try to make U.S. champs. But I'm not sure that they're going to jump or not, but I don't think they're jumping this week.
Trey hasn't signed with them, has he?
Not yet.
What about Jacorian? Is he going to jump some?
Jacorian, yes. Jacorian's healthy, and last year kind of took off when he had his, had a rod put in his shin, and so a lot of rehab, but he's doing great. Has had a really good fall, so I'm excited to see him get back.